In the name of Allah, the Gracious, the Merciful, dear students, hope you are all fine. Today I am sharing another video lecture with you, and the topic of this lecture is presentation skills, preparation for oral presentation, and strategies for combating stage fright. Dear students, in this lecture I will try to cover how to prepare for oral presentation, strategies for combating stage fright, principles of preparing and delivering an effective public speech. At the end of this lecture, you will be able to know about presentation skills. You will be able to understand the steps for preparing an oral presentation, and you will also be able to know how to overcome stage fright. Dear students, first I will talk about what is presentation. Presentations are a way of communicating information and ideas to a group of people. It is a potentially effective means of bringing people together to discuss ways and means to promote the activity of a project. In many ways, they are like reports, except that they are delivered in person rather than on paper. A presentation has a logical beginning, middle, and end that are well sequenced and structured there. The aim of presentation is to absolute clarity in communication. As far as reports are concerned, reports have footnotes and appendices. The reader has the opportunity to read and reread till every aspect is clear. But in an oral presentation, the audience is completely at the mercy of the presenter. We can say that one of the major components of any presentation is the speaker himself, who is the source of the message. Therefore, the speaker's motivation, credibility as a speaker, and a style of delivery matter a great deal to make a good presentation. However, oral presentation is a difficult process. In order to get success, we have to adopt certain steps. A few steps taken in this direction are sure to produce desired results. We must bear in mind these steps when we go for presentation of a speech or a lecture. The steps that should be followed are given below. That you need to know the aim and purpose of your speech. You know your audience, main ideas for the message, research the topic, organize your knowledge, create visual aids, give a rehearsal to your speech. Now I will discuss all these points one by one in coming slides. Now I will talk about the steps for effective oral presentation. The first step is to know the aim and purpose. Oral communication has three aims which a speaker must know. By means of an oral presentation, we inform, persuade, and entertain. Now the question is this, that how to inform, persuade, and entertain. The speaker should know whether he is making the speech to supply certain piece of information on some subject. He should know whether he is going to persuade his audience or he wants to entertain them. He should be clear about the subject of his speech. He should organize the subject matter of his speech, keeping in view the aim and purpose of his speech. So aim and purpose of the speech is very important. That what's your aim, whether you want to inform, whether you want to persuade, or whether you want to entertain your audience. The second is that you need to know your audience. A speaker should try to know his audience. He should collect information about the size of the audience. He should try to know their mental ability. He must collect information about their cultural and religious background. He should know that what kind of language they speak. If the audience are technical people, the speaker has the freedom to use technical language. If they are ordinary people, he can use simple and ordinary language. The third the third step is main ideas of the message. A speaker should select main theme of the topic he is going to deliver. He should add more information to the main ideas. They may be disorganized at first, but he can adjust them to the basic theme of the speech later on. The fourth important step is research on the topic. A speaker should study the ideas he is going to deliver from different sources. He should make a research about his ideas from newspapers, magazines, books, and the internet. He will surely come across new ideas and new things. He should add these things to his speech. The fifth important step for effective oral presentation is organize your knowledge. The speaker should organize his information into three parts: introduction, text, or conclusion. Now, introduction or opening stage. The opening lines of the speaker's speech is very important. He can bring the audience to his side by his captivating words. He can grab the attention of the audience with a good introduction. He can begin with a quotation, a question, a startling statement, or a humorous anecdote. So, in organization of data or organization of knowledge, what is body? A speaker may then talk about the main thesis of his speech. He should restrict it to 2 to 3 points. A lengthy central message is going to spoil the beauty of message. So whatever you share or whenever you share, try to share short messages. And the third important element, especially in organizing your knowledge, is conclusion. A speaker should finish his speech with a flourish. He should summarize the main points effectively. He should do this by a call for action or by ending it with a quotation or a verse. The sixth important element for effective oral presentation is create visual aids. A speaker can use visual aids if his speech or presentation requires that. The help of visual aids is quite optional and depends on the nature of the speech. The visual aids include the use of the following: the old age blackboard with chalk or whiteboard and marker, the flip chart, the magnetic board, the flannel board, various kinds of charts, handouts, the overhead projector, film, and video. And the last step for effective oral presentation is rehearsal talk. A speaker should make a rehearsal of his speech. This will make him comfortable when he begins to deliver the speech. In order to gain full result, he should revise it thrice. So proper revision of the speech is also very, very important for effective oral presentation. Dear students, now I will talk about strategies for combating stage fright. Most people get nervous when they are asked to speak all of a sudden, but the same set of people feel quite comfortable when they are told about it in advance. Nervousness manifests itself in different ways in different people. Some people feel tension in the neck. There are others who feel dryness in the mouth. Some feel an increase in heartbeat. It needs to be kept within limits so as master the art of speaking. The most common reason for this state of fear is that the speakers are mentally unprepared to speak on the subject. It would, however, be wrong to think that nervousness before speaking on any subject publicly is always a bad thing. Certainly not. It becomes bad only when it becomes out of control. It is at this stage that mind fails to cooperate and the body refuses to move forward. In other words, when the very idea of public speaking completely overpowers the speaker with a kind of paralytic effect, it crosses the danger limit. Then it makes the speaker completely unfit for delivering a speech. However, when this fright is within the control of the speaker, it enhances his or her performance level. So the first strategy is that you need to be positive. Always tell yourself that you have all the potentialities of a good public speaker, and with your creativity, you have an edge over most of your competitors. This positive attitude will always save you against experiencing some kind of nervous feeling when you deliver your speech. The second strategy is that be fully prepared. One of the secrets for being free from any kind of stage fright is your thorough preparation for your talk. In case you do not have sufficient preparation time for some reason, just snatch a few minutes to decide what you would like to talk about. It takes hardly 1 to 2 minutes for that. For want of preparation time, you may not have many ideas to discuss on the subject, but whatever you decide to talk about, prepare for it thoroughly. What is important to be an effective public speaker is not the number of ideas you cover on the subject concerned, but how you present them, however small in number they may be. The third important strategy is visualize. Spend a few minutes visualizing how well your speech is going to be received by your audience. This will send you to the rostrum with a positive bent of mind. So this thing is important, that you need to visualize your audience, that who are your audience, and according to that you have to fabricate your speech. The fourth important strategy is inquiry into the cause of one's anxiety. It is equally important to ask yourself what actually makes you nervous. Once you know the Achilles heel, it would be easier for you to prepare yourself for the stage accordingly. So this is very important that you should know about your weak areas and try to work on your areas, weak areas especially. So this is how you can do what that you can overcome anxiety. The fifth important strategy is determination of exact nature of tension. It would also be good idea to be familiar with the exact nature of your tension or nervousness. Once you know it, you can take some remedial action to get rid of it. Experts in the field suggest many such remedial exercises. However, taking 2-3 long breaths before going to the stage has a marvelous effect in relieving you of your nervousness. The sixth important strategy for combating stage fright is planning some interesting activity in advance. Always plan in advance and keep in reserve some interesting activity for the end of your speech. This will help you to create a very good impact on the audience's mind. The seventh important strategy is to begin with some appropriate anecdote. Start your talk with some relevant anecdote. It will not only give an effective start to your speech but also take away your nervousness, if there is any. When you do so, relevant ideas on the subject quietly creep into your mind, which you will easily develop while speaking. The eighth important strategy is clearance of vocal cord in advance. At times, a speaker has to waste 1 to 2 minutes in clearing his or her throat or vocal cord to be able to speak with clarity. It would be a good idea if you read aloud some of your old speech before coming to the venue. This will enable you to speak with perfect clarity right from the time you start speaking. The ninth important strategy is preparing a list of points to be covered. Many good speakers also note down the important points of their speech on a small card sheet and place it at a point from where they can easily have a glimpse without taxing their memory. So this thing is very important that whenever you go for speech, try to keep important points with you and try to place those points at a place from where you can easily see or from where you can easily read it. The tenth important point is strategy is be selective in quantity and quality. Finally, remember to be selective in what you say. Be selective both in quantity and quality. Make conscious efforts to avoid any offensive, personal, and debatable remark as people feel touchy about them. You should always aim at brevity and uncontroversial statements. A good speech should not be more than 15 to 20 minutes and end on the cordial note, which should establish a bond between the speaker and the audience. So, dear students, these were different strategies for combating stage fright. So whenever you go for presentation, so try to adopt these strategies. So this is how you can present without fear, with confidence, being cool and composed. Dear students, now I will tell you about the principles of preparing and delivering an effective public speech. Following are the principles of delivering a public speech. The first principle is the key purpose. Before you tell your audience, you must know yourself clearly as to what is the key point. Prepare your speech well round the key purpose. You should be well aware what you are aiming to get out of the speech. The four basic types of speeches are meant for informing, persuading, motivating, and entertaining. The second principle is know your audience. Once you get done with the purpose of your speech, you should now think about your audience. You have to design your speech around the needs and interests of your audience. You need to prepare it the way it is encouraged and accepted by your audience. The third principle is plan, prepare, and practice. Plan your speech in accordance with the time restraints. The entire outline should be perfectly prepared and rehearsed before you meet your live audience. You can even record yourself so that you yourself can ever calculate your presentation before others do. The introductory part has to do a lot. It is required to arouse the interest of the audience, establish your credibility, and prepare the audiences for what is coming ahead. The body would contain the details of what you intend to discuss about. It should be clear and make sure it retains your audience attention. The closing part of your speech is almost of the same importance as was given to the introductory part. Be clear in telling them that we have come towards the end of presentation and make them give an ear to the summary of what you discussed about. Restate the main points and be sure to emphasize categorically what you want your audience to do or think. Plan appropriate visual aids as well if necessary. Determine if your speech needs to be memorized, read from the notes, or is about impromptu speaking. The fourth principle is perform. After having built your confidence with the help of material developed and enough practice, you are now ready to face your audience. All that you need to do is to stay calm and escape anxiety. Be genuine and just be yourself. Maintain a solid eye contact with the audience. Extremely confused people tend to avoid eye contact. That would actually get your speech flopped. Body language too matters a lot. Make your audience feel that you are perfectly relaxed. And the last principle is the question and answer session. Offer the opportunity to the audience to ask questions and handle them appropriately with confidence. So audience must be given an opportunity to ask questions if they have got any question, anything which is not clear to them. So as a presenter, this is your responsibility to answer their all questions. Dear students, in this lecture, we talked about steps for preparing our presentation, and we also discussed that how to overcome stage fright. I hope that you have got the concept. Thank you.